Without faith in the future, there's no power in the present. I want to talk to you today about keeping the faith. John Maxwell says, without hope in the future, there's no power in the present. And I think it's very similar. Without faith in the future, there's no power in the present. I want to talk to you about a story in the Bible about a woman that had a bleeding disorder. Now, this woman had this disorder for a long time, and she heard there was a big event coming to town. She heard that Jesus was coming, and she heard that Jesus had healed the blind. He healed people with leprosy. And she said, if I could just get in front of him, I know he could heal me. I just know he could cure me of this blood disorder. So she showed up that day, and there was a big crowd. And you would have think that there was a lot of people that were sick there that just didn't get healed. And so many people wanted to get in front of Jesus, and they were bumping in him, and nothing happened. And she kept saying, excuse me, I got to get through. Excuse me, pardon me. And she kept making her way to the crowd. And she kept going through, and stories have been told that observers said they could hear her say, I'm going to get better. Jesus is going to heal me. I'm going to be able to get in front of him. He's going to cure me of my disease. I just know he is. She kept keeping the faith. And as she kept bumping into people and crawling to people, she was quite sick. She was getting tired. She was getting dragged down, and she literally got knocked down. She could have thought that her time was over. She didn't get there. But people say that they saw her crawl the last few ounces of energy she had, and she touched his robe. And Jesus turned and said, what was that? And his disciples said, oh, there's a lot of people bumping into you. He says, no, there's a lot of people that have bumped into me, but somebody touched me. My power has left me and into somebody. And she was so frightened. She looked up and she was so scared. And he said, basically, go in peace. Go in peace. Go in peace. Now, she could have gave up. She could have been intimidated that this was Jesus, but she had the faith. And see, what Jesus recognized is that it wasn't that people just had faith in him, but that woman had faith in herself. And sometimes when it comes to faith, we have to, how do you improve it? You know, sometimes what you have to do is you have to exercise. You have to exercise your faith. You have to go to the faith gym. And sometimes that can be hard to do. You know, over the course of the year, there's certain things that have happened this year with the pandemic, with the election, with how people are divided in this country and around the world. And sometimes it's hard to keep the faith. People have lost, a lot of jobs have been lost, kids home from school. How do you bring the faith? You sometimes wonder, why is this? Why are some things collapsing? And sometimes good things have to fall apart so great things can fall together. And here's a woman in the Bible, bleeding disorder, 12 years of being weak, being feeble, not having the strength, not having the energy, not having the momentum that she wanted, and being healthy. But yet for 12 years, she led that story. Now, if she was there for, 3 months or 3 days or 3 weeks, she wouldn't have had the impact on this story tonight. But years and years and years later, right? What's happened? She's becoming part of the greatest story that's ever told. One of the greatest stories are ever told. So the challenge is for me to remind myself, the challenge is for you, is that we have to have the faith. We have to keep the faith during some of the most difficult times. And I know it's tough. I know there's times that I'm challenged. I say, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to the people I love? Why is this happening to the people I really care about? But I have to remember that I have to start what? Exercising. Get around the right people, reading the scripture, diving into the Bible, because I understand that there are reasons for the season. And it can be difficult. It could be difficult to say, why is this happening? But I'm sure that you know that there's been some bad times in your life that you might have overcome. And see, eventually your story needs to be told. Eventually your story is going to be an inspiration to somebody else. And so what can we do? Well, we got to stay positive. We got to realize that sometimes where we're at is not where we're going to end up, right? Good or bad. And sometimes we have to be moved. And sometimes we have to change our surroundings, maybe dive into some leadership, encourage us to get better. And maybe these things are for us to be moving for the betterment of everybody. You know, I always like saying Jesus came to serve, not to be served. And sometimes the best thing to do when we're down and out is to go serve others. It's to go plant the seed of equivalent advantage. And that could be tough when you could say, Troy, I'm barely taking care of myself right now. I have a lot of hardships going on right now. I can barely survive right now. And I understand that. But I'm just saying a prayer for you, giving you guys blessings, everyone that's watching. And I want to know, what is your story? What have you overcome? Leave a comment below. Go to my YouTube channel, like, subscribe, hit the bell. I want to hear from you. Maybe your story is similar. Maybe you're going through an illness that somebody can read about. Maybe you're going through a tough time that you overcame, or maybe you're going through a tough time right now and we can pray for you. And so I ask you, what do you need to have faith in? What tips can you leave to the people listening today? Well, I appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate any comments you might leave. And so if there's anything that you can do to help people that are looking at this, and if there's anything that I can do to pray for you, I ask you to leave a comment and you'll definitely be in my prayers. So God bless and keep the faith. And remember, without faith in the future, there's no power in the present. And I hope that you will exercise your faith. God bless.